of the Six Sigma is selected as a coordinate. Used method is called DMAIC, D-M-A-I-C, like this. Six Sigma is a top management activity and top management. This is the big difference. But used method is not so big, has not so big difference. Also, there or lean manufacturing. Sometimes it is called just lean. In 1980, Dr. Womack and Dr. Jones, they are the MIT Sloan School doctor and researcher called TPS. And they compared the automobile production system, GM, General Motors, and Toyota. At that time, also for the in the automobile company, the Japanese quality control is much more advanced than the USA. They named TPS, Toyota Production System, Lean Product System, LPS. And lean means to eliminate waste. This lean product system, LPS, and Six Sigma combined in 1990s in the USA. And now, this combined management tool is called Lean Six Sigma. This Lean Six Sigma was now exported to Europe and partially in Japan also. Electronic companies like Toshiba and Sony, they use this Lean Six Sigma as a management tool. About the Lean, I'd like to explain using this video. It takes 90 seconds. It's very short.
Let's say your business is doing well and you're thinking of expanding. That's great, but it's also the riskiest time for your business. In fact, many businesses don't survive the transition. Should you throw money at the problem by investing in new equipment or hiring more people? Should you make your staff work more overtime? Your answers to questions like these can make or break your business. And that's where Lean comes in. Lean is a philosophy about delivering value from your customer's perspective, eliminating waste, and continuously improving your processes. Lean can radically change the way you do business. Lean management is based on 4 principles. The first principle is pull. Rather than producing as much as possible, services through the manufacturing process. This minimizes overproduction, inventory, and ultimately working capital. The second is one-piece flow. Focusing on one single piece at a time minimizes work in progress, process interruptions, lead and waiting time, while increasing quality and flexibility. The third is tact. It's the heartbeat of a lean system. It's how fast you need to manufacture a product to meet customer demand. Tact allows us to balance work content, achieve a continuous flow, and respond flexibly to changes in the market. Defects. Mistakes happen, but a lean company doesn't pass on defects. Mistakes from previous steps before going on. Combined with a continuous improvement process, the 4 principles of lean management will help your company stay ahead of the competition in a constantly changing marketplace. So, if you're ready to begin your lean journey, contact it.
Okay. This shows the definition of the lean manufacturing. I cited this from the University of Georgia. All never-ending efforts to eliminate or reduce muda in design, manufacturing, distribution, and customer service processes. Mudami is a Japanese word, Japanese for waste, any activity that consumes resources without adding value. It's a muda. keywords are introduced: one piece flow, tact, and zero defect. One piece flow I have already explained. Zero defect is easy to understand from now. Pull and tact. There are two types of the production method. One is a push and pull. And push means make to stock MTS. It's based on the demand forecast. Sometimes overstock or out of stock will occur by the mark forecast or unsuitable forecast. Second type is the pull type. This means make to order, MTO. It is the actual shipping. Minimum, we can get the minimum inventory every time by this pull. However, as a weak point, it takes long lead time. Lead time from the order to delivery. Usually, after receiving the order, they start to product. Therefore, long lead time. It's a weak point. However, Toyota every time insists on this pull type production. Toyota had a lot of inventory in 1950, and Toyota almost went bankrupt because of lack of the cash flow. Tact, original meaning of the tact is a small bar which is used as an orchestra. And conductor uses a small bar to get the harmonize the instrument. So to get to synchronize the instrument movement, tact is used. This is the original meaning of tact. And using this very small example, I'd like to explain tact. Please assume this is a PC assembly line. There are three processes, A, B, C. And today's shipping order is 240. We have to make 240 pieces per day. Working hour is 8 hours. Therefore, 480 minutes per day. Definition of the tact time is working time divided by shipping order. Therefore, today's tact time is 480 divided 240 is 2 minutes per piece. This is the production speed, required production speed. Okay? And in detail, I'd like to check. At process A, production speed is 2 minutes per piece. Within 8 hours, 240 products. On the other hand, at process B, they can only produce 160 a day. This is less than the requirement. On the other hand, C, they can produce, make a product 1 minute per piece. They can produce capabilities of 480. However, if we produce this using this assembly line, we can only produce 160 because of the constraint of this process. So there are some items to be improved. I mean, this process B, we need to some manpower input, facility input, or to extend the working hours. Otherwise, we cannot satisfy this amount of the demand. And the basic philosophy of the takt time is to use all the process line. This is a 2, 3, 1. If we get the same speed in this process, we can produce 240. Of course, at this moment, this process has excess capacity. So, to get the average speed, and it is called takt, and therefore this takt time, each process is making the product. It's an idea phase. I'll give you one more quiz. Now, shipping order is 10, and they can buy 10 people. And after the result of the work improvement, they can produce now 12 products by 10 people. This is one type of the production. However, we can reduce the manpower and we can make 10 people, for instance. Two employees, 2 workers can be reduced. Which do you prefer?
Second one.
Could you raise upper side is you'd like to choose? Could you raise your hand? How about this? Lower side. Okay. Thank you. And I do not say which is right or not, correct or not. I do not say. Some company takes this type of the production. They can produce for the tomorrow, next day, but they can only produce today's request. And the important thing is Toyota is every time choose this type of the production. They never produce for the tomorrow order. And every time Toyota try to reduce the case. Usually, if you reduce the manpower, some worker is fired. But such kind of philosophy Toyota doesn't have. Toyota every time think if two people is excess, 2 people are excess, every time Toyota try to pick up the top 2 excellent workers from 10. The first 2 excellent workers is taken away from the assembly line. And the rest of 8 people can do the same kind of productivity. And top 2 excellent workers are taken away from the line, and they are for the different type of the much more challenging work. It's a Toyota's philosophy. And for this case, there is a learning curve is not related with this quiz. Firstly, try to train the employee. And after getting some level of the work, skill of the work, the worker is input in the line. So there is no need to a learning curve. So I'll explain a little bit about the Toyota production system. This picture shows the production line of the Prius. And as you know, Toyota in Japan, also in the world, I think. And total sales of the Toyota is 250 billion USD. And profit is 23 billion USD. And Toyota production system cost reduction by completely eliminating waste. When I attended this kind of seminar of Toyota attendee, your manpower rate is 50 US dollar per hour. So you should not spend the time. If you cannot get some knowledge from at the class, you just consume your time. Such kind of things lecturer said to us. I think at the biggest company in Japan, manpower rate is 50 to 100 USD, I think. And TPS philosophy is said like this: produce the required amount when they are required, only for required amount. This is the Toyota philosophy. This is called sometimes just in time. Actually, Toyota has two philosophies. One is it is explained in the book, almost the book. They say Toyota's philosophy comprises of two main philosophies: just in time and automation. To be exact, it is said directly translated like this: automation with a human element. But in other words, I can say assembly line automatically stops with trouble detection. Just in time, Toyota dislikes overproduction or overstocking. Therefore, ideal state for Toyota is produce cars at the same speed as car sales speed. This is the feature of the Toyota philosophy. Toyota insists on one-piece flow, and they dislike temporary stock produced between the section to section and by mass production. They dislike such kind of intermediate stock. And also about the stock volume, they say yearly inventory management cost is 20 to 30% of the stock material cost. Of course, this figure comes from the Japanese specific situation. In Japan, land cost is very high. Inventory cost occupies 20 to 30% of the material. About the automation with a human element, it means every time line stops with trouble detection. This basic philosophy is the zero defect. If defect is found and cannot recover within the time, they have to stop the line to prevent the incomplete products are sent to the next step. To prevent this kind of things, they specify every time line has to employee has to stop the line. And also Toyota said at the seminar, of the 1 minute, so 90,000 Jordan dinar. Therefore, if 10 minutes, 10 times of this amount, huge money. But they every time request employee to stop the